Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a reading for Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or if you have significant Pisces placements, there may be a message in here for you. So Pisces, I'm getting a lot of downloads for your reading today. First of all, there are a couple of previous Pisces readings that I'm being reminded of. One of them was the title had something to do with like preparing for a marathon or something like that. I'll link it above. And that energy is coming through your reading today. So it may or may not be related to that reading, but it's coming through with sort of a similar energy. But I feel like the reading today is coming through more with an energy of like you're at the starting line of the marathon or whatever this is. And it's kind of feeling something like you're about to start something, but there's something like a disruption is actually kind of how it's coming through, or just like it hasn't started yet. That's the good news, Pisces. It's like whatever this new thing is, it hasn't started yet. You're stepping into it, but it hasn't quite started yet. And I feel like there's something like almost like a disruption energy that's coming in, because it's like it's coming through as being like something may or may not. I don't know. It depends on whatever this is and how big of an energy that's needed for this. But it's kind of like there's something like a disruption. It could be like a mini tower moment like that, where it's sort of like drawing your attention away from the race or whatever it is, right? The big event that's about to unfold. It's taking your attention momentarily away from that in order to draw your attention to something else, like your shoelaces untied, like something like that, where it's like this disruption is drawing your attention away from something that you're very focused on, because it's like trying to prepare you for something that maybe you haven't been seeing, like your shoelace being untied. And so you need to tie your shoelaces before you start running, right? Another gentle reminder, whatever it is that you're about to begin does not feel like a sprint, right? So it's not like you have to like rush. You don't have to like whatever it is feels more steady, like a slow and steady kind of energy. It's the beginning, but you're walking is how it's coming through. Just making sure. So whatever your energy right now feels kind of like you're preparing for something new to begin, and you're sort of like maybe tying up loose ends from past cycles or something like that. Or it's just like you're preparing things, getting ready, like stretching metaphorically, like that kind of thing. Getting loose, getting warm, like that kind of energy. That's how it's coming through for you, Pisces. There's also this other energy that's coming through, which is really interesting, the metaphor that I'm getting for this. If you're familiar with like film cameras, right? Like not digital, but like they actually have film in them. When you take a photo, right, the image is recorded on the film as a negative, which is really interesting, like the why it's called that, and the word that's coming through there as a negative, where I feel like right now you have almost like a film roll of negatives is how it's coming through, and it's kind of being explained as a metaphor as like maybe you have like in sort of like the law of attraction, it's coming through as like Abraham Hicks, that whole thing, where it's like contrast or negative experiences are things that like help you to shape and understand what it is that you truly actually want, right? So having negative experiences is actually like a method to sorry, speaking of distractions or disruptions, negative experiences help to sort of shape what it is that we really want. So it's almost like something here at Pisces where it's like you have this film roll of negatives. Maybe there's something where it's like, maybe there's been a cycle where you just experienced a lot of perhaps negative experiences, but that have helped you to shape what it is that you actually desire and what you actually want. So that's how it's coming through. And so there's something where it's like you're about to process that film, or like it's kind of like you're gonna print the photos from that film or whatever. And there's like a interesting story here where it's kind of like making sure that you have all of the supplies that you need in order to okay, no, it's wanting to be a bit more specific than that. Because, okay, as an example, I took a photography class when I was in high school where we had to develop film from cameras, so that we went into like a dark room and like you had to like, you know, like those like jugs where you had to like pour the developer, like the chemicals, and then you like wash the paper, and then the photo slowly appears. There was this one class that where I was doing that. Everything was sort of set up properly, but the developer, the chemicals where you wash the paper so that the film appears, the chemicals were like outdated or expired, and so it prevented the photos from becoming clear. Even though like the exposure had been correct, the film was all correct, all of that was correct, but the developer itself wasn't correct, like it wasn't updated, it wasn't fresh. So there's something about that. It's like the disruption might be to like refresh something, to help you to refresh something, or to like revitalize or something like that. So that's how it's coming through. So Pisces, I'm going to pause here because I have to take care of something. I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, Pisces, I'm back. So just to continue on, I'm going to pull cards, but there was one more message coming through where I feel like there's sort of like a younger energy. Younger doesn't quite feel like the right word, but maybe like less experienced energy. Could be something like that, where it's like maybe there's a collaboration or something like that. Like it's kind of feeling like you and this other are working together on something, but the other has a bit less experience, or yeah, maybe it's something like that. So it's kind of like I feel like part of the preparation energy that you're being asked to sort of pay attention to, like the energy of a disruption, or like that kind of energy where it's like it may actually be turning your attention towards sort of like this less experienced energy in order to help them, in order to like maybe prepare them for like what's ahead or something like that. Because it's kind of feeling like maybe Pisces, you are receiving. So it could be something where it's like you're more experienced, you have more experience, but this other one is maybe it's like something that's a bit newer to them, and it's kind of like they need to learn more than you do in terms of whatever this new thing is, this new project, whatever it is, that kind of energy. So it's kind of like paying attention to that, Pisces, to make sure that be patient. I feel like it'll require a bit of patience, and like instruction is kind of how it's coming through. So I'm going to leave that there, and I'm going to pull cards for you, Pisces. I'm using the Woodland Wardens deck today. Okay. The bat and hellebore, intuition, which is really interesting because I feel like if we go back to that film role of negatives, right, that it's kind of coming through as being like that's your intuition is actually how it's coming through, where it's like you have, if you like seen like the film rolls where they have like their little miniature versions of the actual picture and their opposite, which is really interesting because it's kind of like your intuition may be telling you something about like what's about to be manifested in your reality. Like it's like you're about to print the photos so that they're more visible is kind of how it's coming through. But right now it feels like you just have the film roll. You just have the negatives. Interesting. Okay. So your intuition is really key in this. The bat in the other animal deck also talks about getting closure about something. So there may be something like that. I feel like part of this energy of like the pause, right? Like to like tie your shoelaces is to like tie up loose ends. There could be something like that. Or there's this energy of sort of like cleaning something up or closing something out that's coming through with this. Oh, upheaval. Interesting. The vulture. And asphodel. I don't know if you say that. Asphodel. The vulture. Interesting. Because I actually feel like this is not your energy. This is the other. If there is another for you, or it's like whatever it is, it doesn't have to be a relationship. It could be like an example of this is kind of something where it's like, let's say you're getting ready to like, let's say you're like getting a promotion or you're getting a new job or you're moving somewhere, for example, right? And so there's like somebody who will be replacing you or taking your place in the job that you are currently in, for example, right? And so the upheaval is kind of coming through as being like the upheaval is not yours. It's for the other person who's going to be replacing you, but it's kind of like they need a lot of training is how it's coming through. They need a lot of like training to understand like what it is that your job was in the place that you are about to leave, that kind of thing. So it's kind of coming through like that, where it's like but I feel like it's not an upheaval for you because you have been training for this, right? Like you already knew that you were going to get a promotion or whatever. It's kind of coming through like that, where it's like you already knew with your intuition that something was going to change for you. Like perhaps you already knew that you were going to get a new job or whatever, as an example, as a metaphor. But the other person was not prepared for this change is how it's coming through. So it's like for them, they need to like catch up, or like they need to like learn a lot of things in a short amount of time, where perhaps maybe you had a longer period of time to prepare for something. It's kind of coming through like that. So I feel like there's this dynamic here, Pisces, between you and another, where it's like you're helping to train them maybe in this like new perhaps position of responsibility. It kind of feels like something where it's like it's coming through very Saturn. Saturn is in your sign right now, where it's like maybe you're teaching them about like your responsibilities, like what it is that you have been taking care of, but now they will be responsible for taking care of, like that kind of thing. It's kind of feeling like that for you, Pisces. Okay, one more card from this deck. Interesting. Dreams. The caiman and the poppy. Okay. Because there's all this energy, and you have home at the bottom of the deck, beaver and birch. Because there's this, all of these look like negatives, right? Of a film roll, where I feel like there's something here about like, there may be this energy here with the dreams where it's like, because this card talks about something where it's like, your dreams are about to come true, that kind of thing. And it's like, are you ready for it? That's how it's feeling. But it's like, maybe there's an energy here where like, there's sort of like an awakening energy that's coming through, where it's like you or another or this dynamic is going through this sort of awakening where like things are changing, things are waking up in preparation for something that wants to come through, whatever it is. But I feel like, because with that example of like photography and like a dark room, there's something like a dark room that's coming through here, like the darkness. Like maybe there's something where it's like whatever this new beginning is feels kind of like in secret, or it's like in a dark room, so to speak. Like you can't develop film in regular lighting because it will damage the film. It becomes overexposed, right? So you need darkness in order to work with this new beginning. It's kind of something like that. Like it's like, for example, like a seed. A seed will grow in darkness. I feel like there was another Pisces reading, which I forgot to mention, where it had something about sparks of light, which I'll link above, where it's like the sparks of light are only visible in the darkness, right? It's kind of like there's something about this new beginning where it has to be sort of like in darkness, because otherwise you would miss it. It's kind of coming through like that, where it's like it's so small or it's so subtle that like it has to happen in this sort of like dark energy, otherwise you would miss it, or it would become overexposed, or it would be like, I don't know, like it would burn too brightly, like that kind of thing. So it's kind of like there's something here about like the quiet, the stillness, the darkness is necessary for whatever it is that this new beginning is. There may be something about your dreams and sleep that is part of like your intuition is showing you something about what this is. Okay, wasn't quite ready for this card to come out, but Sapa the Moon Plant, which is again this sort of like subconscious dream energy. And also rest is really what's coming in for you. I feel like whatever it is that this disruption is kind of feels something like very small, where it's like you're cleaning something up, you're like tying shoelaces, you know, like that. It's that kind of thing, like very small, very, very small, subtle things, but they would have a really big impact if they weren't taken care of. So it could be something like practical things, right? Like you don't want to start a race with your shoelace untied. It's that kind of energy. So take care of the small things, Pisces. It feels like maybe like very little details. It's feeling very like Virgo energy, like small adjustments that are going to help you in the long run. That kind of thing. Okay. Sorry, I'm just going to turn this off 1 sec. Okay, sorry. Disruptions. Okay. Priorities is also what's coming through here. There are certain things, like maybe like having to prioritize certain things. Maybe you have a lot to do, Pisces. Okay, the peacock's tail, which is interesting because the Virgo energy is coming through, which is your opposite, right? This talks about full vision. It also talks about like that like magic and complexity is found when you bring together opposites. That's how it's coming through. Again, with that negative energy that's coming through, like the negatives, those are necessary in order for you to print the actual photo, right? It's kind of something like that. Maybe there's something where it's like the negative experiences, you have to go through the negative experiences before you get to the actual manifestation. That's how it's feeling today. I'm not sure if that, I don't know. Because it's kind of feeling like, though, for you, the negative experiences are coming to an end. There's this like period of time maybe for you, Pisces. I feel like this was in another Pisces reading as well, where it's like the end of a really tough karmic cycle. I feel like there's something like that for you. And it's like you're about to step into a new cycle, but it's kind of like you have to take care of the loose ends, the untied shoelaces, so to speak. And making sure that there's like, not only like tying up the loose ends, but also like a refreshment of the things that you will need in order for this new cycle to happen. Because it's kind of like something where it's like you don't want to end the last cycle on sort of like a bitter note or that kind of thing. It wants to be more like uplifting, or it's kind of like something where it's like you need a refreshment maybe, or refresher or something like that. I feel like there's just something here about like enthusiasm or like excitement that's wanting to come through, but I feel like right now it's like something has been no, that's not the right way of phrasing it. Just remember why you are doing this, Pisces. Because it may be something where it's like right now you're sort of dealing with like loose ends or that kind of thing. That can put sort of like a bitter or negative sort of spin on something. But remember what it is that you're actually moving towards. That's how it's feeling. Remember what it is that you're actually moving towards, because that's where the excitement and that kind of energy is. That it's like focus on the future while also taking care of what's around you right now. Okay. I am also getting like a very strong like Mercury retrograde energy. We're not, at the time that I'm filming this, we're not in a Mercury retrograde, but there was one that passed just a month or two ago, where maybe there's something like that, something which is interesting. It's almost like a delayed Mercury retrograde, where there's like there may be something of a delay, but it's in order to help you to see something that you haven't been seeing. I also feel like there's something here where it's like you want to make sure that you tie up any loose ends right now, because if you don't, then it's going to be something that you see the next time Mercury goes in retrograde, which is really interesting message. Like, it's like, if you don't close it out now, it'll be something that is closed out in the future. When Mercury goes back into retrograde, that kind of thing. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just like sometimes when it's like, I feel like there's an advantage to closing it out now, right? You want to start off the new thing prepared, is how it's coming through. Okay. There is an advantage to closing something out now. Okay. So you have the Sun card, yeah. And Chiron, but I'm not going to take this one because it didn't flip out onto the table. The Sun card. Maybe something by Pisces season. So in March is something where it's like, maybe that's when the new beginning is coming through, or maybe there's something about March that's significant for you. So it says expression, vitality, and identity. Each morning the sun graces the night sky, summoning the dawn. Such is the energy of the Sun card. With its arrival is an activation and a presence of vitality, of new beginnings. It is said the sun is linked to the hero archetype and the yang dynamic in Chinese alchemy. Through the sun's radiance, we are inclined to see ourselves fully and establish a sense of who we are. We gain confidence and clearer vision. In its light, we are assured that we too have an important role in the world. Associated with masculine dynamics, the sun card certainly carries a risk if not kept in check. Remember, the sun never actually sets. It's the earth that pivots away. Assess whether it's time for you to awaken more fully or turn away and rest. Sunburn humbles us all. Interesting. Okay, Pisces, because that's that energy of like the negatives becoming overexposed. There's something here about like part of maybe like a challenge energy that you may be dealing with is like, because I feel like there's something where it's like there are a lot of positives, there's a lot of forward momentum, there's a lot of excitement and things like that, where it's like you're moving forward, you're about to like do this thing that you've been preparing for a long time. But the balance to that would be sort of like recognizing when it's time to sort of like turn away from that energy and retreat back into darkness, that kind of thing. There's a balance that's necessary with this sun energy, because I feel like there's something here where you may not want to do that with this card. You may not want to sort of turn away from this like sun energy because it's so life-giving, right? It's so warm. It's so warm and it brings light. But again, balance, because I feel like there's something here where it's like there are loose ends that need to be tied up, right? You need to there are some periods of like rest and quote unquote darkness in order to do like something very delicate. It feels like whatever this sort of like tying up loose ends is kind of something where it's like it requires delicacy, it requires stillness and quiet and darkness, that kind of thing. But remember that you are moving towards the sun. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna just leave it there. I don't want to over-explain it, so I'm gonna pull one more card from this deck. Autumn. This card came out in yesterday's reading as well, yeah. This is a card about culmination. Culmination and Aries, Mars at the bottom of the deck. I shuffle this deck so much. This card was also in yesterday's reading, so you may want to watch the Scorpio reading from yesterday. There may be a message in there for you. The Autumn card talks about a culmination point. It's like you've reached the end of a particular journey. It's time to like collect all the things that you've gained and also to share it with others. So there's something like that that's happening. But I feel like you're in this period, Pisces, where it's like you're about to share something that you've gained through the past, like whatever. But there's... It's like right now you're in the dark room. That's how it feels. Where it's like, you're in this period of in the dark room where it's like you're preparing for the things that you're about to bring out into the sunlight. That's how it's coming through. And it's like, don't get distracted by the sunlight, because what you're doing right now requires sort of this like very attentive, intuitive, subtle, quiet energy. Don't get distracted by that, by the sunlight, even though it is what you're working towards. But it's like if you bring in the sun too early, if you bring in the light too early, it's gonna overexpose your film, right? As a metaphor. I hope that makes sense. So just pay attention. Make sure that you're maintaining care and preparation. Okay. Yeah, the cave. That is the perfect image for a dark room metaphor. Yeah, you're in the cave, Pisces. That's so interesting. It's this initiation energy. You're in the cave preparing like your bounty is actually how it's coming through. Like it's kind of like something where it's like you're, for example, metaphor, photographer. You have a whole bunch of film rolls that you've developed through maybe negative experiences. Like all of those negative experiences maybe have given you a lot to like create with. It could be something artistic. It could be something where it's like an expression of some sort. It could be something where it's like it feels very creative, but whatever it is, it's like you're about to put your artwork in a museum or whatever, an art gallery or whatever, like something where it's like people can look at it and interact with it. But right now you're in the darkroom developing your photos. So it's like, it's something where it's like, you're preparing for that. And making sure that like everything in the darkroom is still quiet. It's like this like really interesting balance between light and dark for you. But this cave card, did that also come out in one of the air sign readings? But anyways, I'm just gonna skim it. Yeah, the dark, the portal, the interior. Okay, so it says, we busy ourselves in the bright lights of the city, while the cavernous and dimly lit chamber calls out to us in the night. Where is your cave? You already know. Return to it and tend the fire. Yeah, meaningful retreat. Very interesting, Pisces. So maybe there's like a balance of like, okay, because now I'm getting, if we just continue on with that metaphor of a photographer where it's like photographs that are like artwork or whatever that's displayed in a gallery for others to see. That's more of a sun energy. That's this sort of autumn energy where like your bounty, for lack of a better word, is on display for others to witness and interact with. But then there's also this energy of like retreating into the cave where the work actually gets done, right? Where it's like where you actually spend time alone, where you actually spend time engaged in the process of doing whatever this work is. There's like a very like this feels very private and sacred is how it's coming through. Very interesting, Pisces. But maybe there's something where it's like you're bringing somebody into that process, which is interesting because it's almost like something where it's like if we go back to that energy, because I feel like there's someone else here, right? The upheaval energy where it's like there's somebody else who maybe is trying to learn from you, right? Like there's something like that where it's like you're it's like you're inviting somebody into the cave where you do your work, Pisces. Like, it's like maybe you are helping someone to initiate in this cave energy where it's like you're bringing them into the darkroom to show them how the photos are developed. So it's more than just them interacting with your art or whatever, interacting with your creations or whatever in a gallery. It's also that they're coming into the darkroom to see how you do what you do. Like the actual process of creating it is how it's coming through. So it could be something like that. It's that energy of like, for example, you're training the new hire or that kind of thing. Like you're helping somebody to see the process of how you get to where you get to. Maybe there's something like that. It's really interesting. But for some reason, it feels kind of like an upheaval for the other, which is interesting. Like, because it's kind of, like maybe it's something where it's like, because in a dark room there's no lights, right? There's just like that like red light that doesn't affect the film from being exposed. Like so there's an adjustment period where you can't quite see what it is that you're doing at first. There's an adjustment period that is required. So maybe that is what the upheaval is like, or upheaval is a strong word. Change. Okay. Another. Oh, look at this. Look at all this dark energy, the shadow. Don't be scared. I feel like that's something where it's not, the shadow is not as scary as it seems. I feel like everybody is like, not everybody, but I feel like there's this sort of judgment that comes through with the shadow. It's just an aspect of ourselves that we, there's a line from this song I've been listening to a lot. It's called Shine Through by Goldford. And there's a line in that song where it talks about like, in my shadow, there's peace of mind. My peace of mind is hidden in my shadow. Like, whatever. I don't know the exact line, but it's something like that. Where it's like, I feel like it's almost like, because the shadow today is coming through as being like a place where you retreat into, a place that perhaps is hidden from others. It's not in the sunlight, but balance, right? The sun, if there's sun, there are shadows, because the sun casts shadows. So the shadow is something that is where like you would find retreat. It's coming through as like shade, where you go to find peace of mind, perhaps, Pisces. There's something like that that's coming through. Because I feel like maybe whoever this is that you're sort of initiating into a certain process, they might not understand quite yet why this energy is important for you, or like why it brings you peace. Because it's necessary for balance, right? Like it's something like that. It's a balancing energy. Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of cards here. The prayer, Kairos, the healer, and the ocean. Because this is, I feel like there's something very healing that's happening in a dynamic where, and the gem at the bottom of the deck, yeah. And the lever is peeking out as well. Okay. I feel like you're helping somebody to heal something, Pisces. Through darkness is actually how it's feeling. And that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. It's actually very positive, with the gem at the bottom of the deck, which I love so much. Because it's, and Venus is also flipping out as well. The sparks of light, or it's kind of like, in the darkness is where there's clarity. In the darkness is where there's like, your true self is revealed, is how it's feeling. And there's this like light that is shining through. And it's almost like there's this process of like you're distilling that, is how I want to say that. Like, it's kind of like, it's almost like you're collecting like stars, like starlight, and then like magnifying it, right? It's like taking those like little negatives and then creating something beautiful out of it, Pisces. It's incredibly like healing. But I'm getting kind of like this humorous energy as well, where it's something like, for example, if there's somebody who is learning something new, but it's like maybe they're a bit nervous. It's kind of like there's something where it's you're helping them be a bit lighter about whatever this is. Because maybe somebody's taking something like very, very seriously. Yeah, Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles. This is a Virgo energy. But it's something like before the race, making sure your shoelaces are tied. It's taking care of like a bunch of like little things, making sure everything's ready, making sure that you're prepared for whatever is up ahead. I feel like there is something where it's like slow and steady. It's not a race, even though I've been saying it's a marathon. It doesn't matter who finishes first, that kind of thing. It's just something where it's like, it's not a race. It's not a race. It's not a race. I feel like there's something like, go slowly. That might also be something that you're telling to this other person, because it may be something where it's like somebody, especially if it's something where it's like you're helping somebody or teaching somebody or that kind of thing. There may be this sort of feeling of anxiety or like wanting to rush or like wanting to get a head start on something, when it's like it can happen over time, or it can be a bit slower. There is this sort of excitement that I feel like needs to be grounded, right? Like paying attention to details, making sure that all of your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed, if that's the right way of saying it. Something like that. There's a very detail-oriented energy with this. Okay, so you have 10 of Wands, Knight of Swords, and the 2 of Cups coming out. Okay, Pisces, this is a really interesting message, because I feel like there's something here where it's like, because this 10 of Wands feels like something of responsibilities that you are releasing, actually, because it feels kind of like there's something where it's like, it's so interesting, because you have like the same flowers here. Maybe there's a 2 of Cups relationship. Well, okay, anyways, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but you have the 10 of Wands. I feel like that's the person that you're training. That's how it's coming through. 10 of Wands into the Knight of Swords, which is kind of feeling like there's something here where it's like, maybe this is this energy of like taking care of details, your responsibilities, very practical sort of things that you need to take care of. That energy with the 10 of Wands, and then suddenly being released from them into the Knight of Swords, where it's like this lightness. It also says here something about like right is worth the cost, where I feel like there was a period of time where you were learning a lot of things, Pisces, or that there was a lot of like responsibilities that were being put on you, or like things that you had to take care of, or things that you had to learn, like very Saturn like lessons where you had to take care of all these things. But that's ending, because it's going into this sort of like freedom kind of energy, or like the reward from all of this hard work that you've been putting in. But at the same time, it also feels like you're like initiating somebody else into those same lessons that you just learned, right? It's like you're training somebody new, or you're helping somebody learn the same lessons that you just went through, or whatever it is. It could be this 2 of Cups energy. It's almost like you're like helping somebody to get to the same level that you are at right now because of all the hard work that you've put in. That's how it's feeling. You're helping somebody to reach the same level as you with the 2 of Cups. But I feel like for you, there's this sort of like Knight of Swords energy, which is like fast movement, but also like from burden. Burden feels a bit strong, from like responsibility or a lot of things that you have to do like practically, into this sort of like light as a feather kind of energy where it's like you're moving somewhere. I feel like there's fast movement. I feel like there's something about like temporary problems that are being cleared, like things that were like problems, or I don't know, it just feels like things that you have to take care of. Okay, yeah, 7 of Cups. I love this. This is the dark room energy. That's so interesting that this energy is coming through again with like the stars, right? Like taking these sort of sparks of light and then creating something with it. I feel like there's really something significant about like your creative process, whatever that is for you, how you express yourself, that is becoming unburdened by other responsibilities that have been taking up your time or energy or focus, that kind of thing. Because it's feeling kind of like an elevation of some sorts, or like a culmination. You've reached the peak of something where it's like, or you're wrapping something up that has been very difficult, is just how it's coming through. And then it's this sort of like lightness, because that responsibility perhaps has been removed from you. Okay, I'm going to pull one more card. Yeah, interesting. King of Wands. But the, I need to pull one more card. Because that's interesting. Because it kind of looks like this dreams energy. Eight of Pentacles. I'm not a fan of this King of Wands. That's why I'm pulling pulling more cards. You have Justice and King of Cups. Okay. And then this King of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. There's something at this one that's like a bit unsettling for me, because it's kind of coming through with this poppy energy. Okay. I feel like you have choices to make, Pisces, because there may be something in your environment that is something that is kind of, I don't know what that is. Like if you, there's 2 King of Wands here, right? One's at the bottom of the deck. But you have to learn how to differentiate between these two. There's something about, I feel like you're closing out a chapter of whatever this King of Wands is. I'm not exactly sure, Pisces. There's something false about this energy that I don't like. So I feel like there's something about like there was a negative experience in your past that you're closing out, but that that could have caused sort of like something where it's like you had to master your emotions, is how it's coming through, or how you feel about something. Or there's this balancing energy between like responsibility, what is your responsibility, that kind of thing, versus what is not. And I feel like you're going to be moving into something that's much more positive here with the Empress and King of Wands here, where it's like moving into something that's much more in alignment with you, but you had to learn the lessons through difficult negative experiences. Anyways, I'm just gonna leave it there because this was a longer reading than I expected. So if this resonated with you, Pisces, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.